That's correct.
How long was
Hey, hi.
About 2.5 years.
Hello.
No children.
Welcome
Yes,
to
we have,
Diana Emerson
one
today.
son.
We
It's,
are
almost,
listening to Judge
he'll be
Judy
2 years old.
with Spicing It
Complaint
Up.
says that while his daughter and soon to be ex-son-in-law were living together, you lent them some money to fix an old truck, $463.
That's correct. It was actually for 2 cars, a Ford Explorer and for a large truck. I don't know what it's called. It's got an extra cab in the back. And they were supposed to pay me back when they traded the cars in. And then when David left my daughter for his best friend's wife, I asked him didn't want to extend any credit to him any longer.
Eddie?
And asked to have him pay it back. And he has paid it back in the past. We have also paid for other bills for him.
Well, for him and your daughter.
No, even before they were married, we paid off the stereo of his.
But while they were married, you paid some things.
Yes, we paid off a Visa bill so they wouldn't have to pay the interest. And then they made payments to us.
And you want him to pay back this whole bill to you.
That's correct.
Why is that?
Well, it went to his benefit. My daughter is now without any car. And the money was used to pay off and his other cars and purchase cars. He bought
I'm
another
talking about
car.
this money. This money you said was just used to fix up a couple of cars.
Right, and we were supposed to be paid back when the cars were traded or sold. And the purpose was to fix them up so that they were in better shape so they could get a better value on the car. And they traded in and we didn't get the money back. So she still doesn't have a car.
All right, David. Let's hear from you.
She is driving a brand new car right now, my ex-wife.
Well, I assume that you didn't buy that.
No, I did not.
Your parents did.
And I have bought a few vehicles since then, and she was driving the vehicles, the Acura and the van. She was driving both of
Well,
those.
but we're talking about right now. You know.
Right now, I also was left without a vehicle in this divorce. So I'm struggling. I have to pick up my son from their house to.
What happened to your cars?
My ex-wife repossessed it and took it to the leasing agency.
Is that right?
Yes.
So he doesn't have a car, and you have the use of a car that he didn't provide. You have the use of a car through your parents.
He also has the use of a car through
Yes,
his
I do
parents.
now.
He has the use of a car through his parents.
Judge Judy will return in a moment.
The girlfriend that they're referring to was since we've been separated.
His best friend's wife.
Since you separated, that make you angry?
His best friend's wife?
Roberta Guarnieri is upset that her former son-in-law left her daughter. Now she says it's payback time for David Sweetford.
What I really want to know is why are you angry? Is that why you decided to sue him?
Yeah, I suppose that would be part of it. And he's left her in considerable debt as well. And I don't feel that we both got, my husband and I both had cuts in pay. And we're no longer able to provide support. And we'd like to get some relief
Right
there.
now, I'm paying my ex-wife, $1,500 a month for child support and alimony.
Are you paying that?
Yes, right now.
But it also discontinues after 9 months.
Well, the child support will not discontinue.
Right,
The child is.
will.
So you're paying $1,500 a month.
Yes.
What kind of work do you do, sir?
I'm a refinery worker at Chevron in El Segundo.
How much do you earn?
About $60,000 a year.
And what do you do?
I'm unemployed. Just did it.
You live at home with your parents?
Yes, I do.
Hmm?
Yes, I do.
I also live at home with my parents.
Okay. Now he's giving you $1,500 a month. Is he faithful in giving you that money?
Yes, yes.
What do you do with that money?
I was in another car accident, which I've been paying medical bills, paying rent to my parents, paying off other bills that he left me with.
Did he catch some of those bills?
Yes,
So he was left with some bills and you were left with some bills.
yes.
I didn't leave her with any bills. I'm stuck right now with
We have all your
$25,000.
utility bills.
I'm stuck right now with about $25,000 in bills. The utility bills that they're talking about are bills that, well, after I had left the house, she had utility bills on the house that is my house. She was living in the house still for a few months after we separated.
that right?
Until he kicked her out, yes.
Is that right?
I had her son, he didn't come up to see the son at all. For about 2 weeks, so I was watching this.
That's why I didn't bother to go up there.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I don't understand is he is faithfully paying the amount that he was ordered to pay. Clearly, he's got a substantial nut that he has to repay, which is not particularly terrible. I mean, you can understand why they're angry. I mean, if you left her daughter for somebody else.
That's not exactly what happened. She also has had boyfriends since. She's had quite a few boyfriends since we've separated.
We're not talking about since you separated, David. We're talking about before. I assume that what
the girlfriend that they're referring to was since we've been separated.
Your best friend's wife.
Since you separated.
Yes.
That make you angry?
His best friend's wife? Yes.
Ex-wife.
Well, but that was since you've been separated.
No.
You say it was
He
before.
left for her.
How do you know that?
Because they went to Palm Springs 5 days later.
5 days, David. That
Yeah,
isn't
but
even a
they
reasonable
come
mourning period, David. You know what I mean?
There was no. I wanted to leave. That's why there was no warning.
Look, this loan of $460 was extended to both your daughter and your son-in-law at the time that they were together. Seems unreasonable for you to want him to pay that entire loan. They both had benefit of the vehicles that they bought.
Not on the truck. He never allowed her to drive the truck, other than to take it in for the repairs. She wasn't even allowed to drive it out of the driveway half the time.
Did you ever drive the truck?
Very rarely.
Did you ever drive the truck?
Around the block.
You drove the truck. So the answer is yes, you drove the truck, yes.
But the Ford Explorer was paid off. His truck was not.
Doesn't make any difference. Your loan was extended, Ms. Spinieri, to both your children. And it seems unreasonable. You acknowledge that this was a debt that was incurred to them. It was a joint debt, correct?
I'm not even sure that they paid for this. The only thing I've seen is receipts for the work that was done, and they were all signed by my ex-wife.
Do you have those receipts?
Yes. And they were on my Visa bill.
Well, you knew that the work was done on the car, David.
Yes, I did.
Sorry.
She's ready to rule in a moment.
Things aren't always exactly equal when people split up. Irrespective of whose fault it is, somebody always gets a little bit more in debt, and somebody always winds up a little bit better off financially. I have my sense, that you're angry with him because your daughter is unhappy. She has a child that she's going to be taken care of for a long time.
I have the child almost 50% of the time right now.
Do you?
Yes.
I'm very pleased to hear that. That's really very good for a child to spend substantial time with both parents. So that's a very good thing. So I think that this was a joint debt. And I think that each of you have a responsibility to repay your mother, your soon-to-be former mother-in-law, for half of the amounts that she's requesting. She should not be out that money. You both acknowledge that these repairs were made. So the judgment in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount of $232. I've rounded it off to the closest dollar. Okay? Thank you.
All right, sir. Step up. Judge Judy will return in a moment. Jackson, step forward, please. Nancy Vance says Francis Jackson stalked her and vandalized her car. He says she has it turned around. She harassed him.
Order! All rise! Order!
Your Honor, this is case number 99 on our calendar in the matter of Vance versus Jackson. You may be seated.
You lived together for a while, according to your complaint and answer. Broke up. You say he's vandalizing your car. He says you're trying to destroy his career. So it sounds to me as if you don't know how to put a period in this relationship and move on with your lives. Does that sound right to the two of you?
No, I'm ready
No,
to move on. I've moved on.
I've moved on myself, so I don't know.
So you both moved on. So what are you doing here?
He hasn't moved on. He has his girlfriend calling me, harassing me.
That's a lie.
He's harassing
Okay,
me.
That's a lie.
listen to me. Let's get to this vandalism of a car. You say that after you broke up, you started vandalizing your car to the tune of $3,500, right?
Yes.
Do you have any witnesses to this vandalizing of the car?
No, I just have receipts. And I have witnesses that know that he's been stalking me and what kind of person he is. He said that.
Well, let's get. Are we eliminating the car?
No, that's
well, then tell me what proof you have that he vandalized your car, and when did it start?
I had company from out of town. Francis called me and said, "Who's that man laying in your bed?" And I said, "I don't know what you're talking about."
You'd already broken up.
Yes. And he said, "Well, you're gonna pay for that." And I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "USC." So I was getting ready to take my company back to the airport. It was raining. I go outside, my windshield broken. My windshield wipers broke completely off. Both rear mirrors broke. He did it. He called me and said he did it. I had it on tape.
Now tell me about that. Listen to me.
Okay.
When did he call you and tell you that he did it? What did he say?
He said, "I got you."
He said, "I got you."
He said, "I got you." He said, "Did I tell you he's gonna pay?"
And that was right after you saw that damage on the car.
That's right. First time he came and did it, he broke one rear mirror off because I had a new neighbor had moved in an apartment complex. He had an out-of-state license plate, so he thought that was my company. So he broke that man's mirror off his car also.
Don't worry about the other man. The other man's gonna worry about himself.
Yes. So he did that. He broke one at that time. Then after that he came back again and he broke the windshield, the dent to the car. He broke the windshield wiper completely off, both rear mirrors at that point. And for about 4 months he got sick. He was in the hospital in intensive care. We had a restraining order at that time. Okay, let me tell you about this restraining order.
Okay.
When he did this to I'm talking.
Hard thing here that
Just a second.
I'm talking. He after he did this to my car, I was waiting for the police to come out and take a police report. When I'm waiting for the police to come out and take the police report, he goes downtown and get a restraining order on me, telling them that I did this to him. So when I go downtown, they don't want to give me a restraining order to protect me and my kids.
Okay. So what you're telling me is he has a restraining order against you, and you're not allowed to go on his base.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yes, because he did this to make the Navy think that I'm doing this to him. I'm the girlfriend trying to get with him.
Why did you break up with each other?
Because he had my telephone tapped. He should follow me everywhere I go. He didn't trust me. He didn't never trust the relationship from the beginning. And he had this girlfriend. He called me and said that she was his girlfriend. And so she said that
you lived together for a while.
Yes, we lived together, but that was a nightmare.
How long did you live together?
About 6 months.
yeah, too long.
Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson, commanding officer.
He totally changed. When we were just dating, he was a very, very nice person. But when I moved in with him, he wanted to control me. It was a totally different. He just changed to a totally different person.
Did you damage her car?
No, ma'am, I didn't. Your Honor, I want to add on this.
No, let's not add first. I'm going to let you add.
Okay.
You were outside of her house at one point. She stands up.
Oh, no, I was not.
You weren't outside of her house?
No, I was not.
On this day that she said her car was damaged?
No, I was not.
You didn't cause the damage to the car, and you weren't sitting outside of her house on this occasion?
No, I was not, Your Honor.
Okay, now you want to tell me something.
Now, I don't even know what time. We've been through civil court for these same charges. I don't even know what charges she's bringing out. It says on her, the thing that I'm being sued for is 2 times of vandalism to a car. What dates are you talking? When are you talking about?
Don't talk to me, baby. Don't talk to each other. Talk to me.
I don't even know what she's talking about.
Well, what difference would the dates make? Did you ever vandalize her car?
No, I have never vandalized her car. But she keeps coming with these statements. She continuously comes with these statements. She calls my command. She does it all. I have statements from people at my command that she often calls it. She's her language is always vulgar. She curses. She can't. I'm surprised.
That's right, because if they're not going to listen to
I'm talking now.
Miss ma'am, I'm talking. No, you're not supposed to talk to him. You're supposed to talk to me.
Yes, ma'am.
Again, she continuously calls up there with all of this nonsense, and she continuously does it. Now, if she's telling me that this relationship is over, why don't she stop calling me?
Let me ask you this question. Before you answer, just think a minute. Do you still like each other?
No, I would like to be friends, but Francis, you can't be friends with him because he tells me the reason why he wants my car.
You just want to be friends. You just want to be.
With him, we wouldn't be here. My baby's father's wife and him teamed up together to try to catch me and her husband together.
Sounds to me as if you don't want to be together anymore.
They used to be lovers. Now they are enemies. Nancy Vance says Francis Jackson stalked her and vandalized her car. He says she had to turn around. She harassed him.
Just want to be friends. Miss Vance.
Yeah, what? Jackson. You have to about me,
What about yourself?
I don't want anything to do with it.
You have a new girlfriend?
my
Miss Vance, if you're not quiet again, then I'm going to rule on your case very fast.
Okay.
Do you have a new girlfriend, sir,
Yes, I do.
that you like a lot?
Yes.
Would there be any reason for you to still go over to her house?
Oh, no way.
Would it make you angry if she had a new boyfriend?
Not at all.
Who are you? Step up here.
Hi, I'm James. Also, I know Your Honor that they had a nice relationship for one time, okay? And sad it isn't like this. But we had been there one time, and she had just got her relationship fixed again. We go to the park when I asked her to be in the club, the relationship cracked again. Altogether, I know 3 times she had tried to vandalize.
Well, but how do we know that on all 3 occasions it was Mr. Jackson?
But I don't really know. But I do know this right here that there were situations where we'll go outside, and here he come, he had to go outside the side door.
Have you seen him at about this time and place where the car was vandalized?
I seen him down by the club. I can't say he actually did it.
You mean the club where you all were attending?
Mm-hmm.
And when you came out of the club, you saw damage to the car?
Yeah, we sat in the car and the window was cracked again.
Did you see him around the club at the same time?
I didn't see him outside the club. I did see him around it, inside the club. He was inside the club. I didn't see him outside.
What were you all doing at the same club at the same time?
Because this is what we should go. Let me tell you something.
Well, let me find out from you.
Okay.
What were you doing at the club?
Again, Your Honor, I've been in clubs where she has either came to the club or she was inside the club. Normally, if I know that she's inside the club, I won't even go inside the club because we have restraining orders, unlike the things that she does. Second of all, if I was in that club, I would more than likely I was in that club first. Again, I don't know what dates and times they're talking about. I don't even know what they're talking about. However, I have seen them in the club. Matter of fact, the most recent time that I've seen them in the club, which is the only time I've seen Janice in the club with her, was probably about a month ago. I don't know what.
Let me ask this question, although it's not evidence, Mr. Jackson. Why do you think, I mean, you did live together for a while, why do you think that she has come to this point in her life where someone seems to be targeting her car?
Your Honor,
I mean, you don't doubt that her car was vandalized.
There's no doubt in my mind that she fools around with numerous people. Her little daughter's father was married when she was fooling around with him. They have a restraining order. She has went and burglarized those folks.
Really?
Really?
Oh,
again, I have proof. No, I have a police report on you.
So Miss Vance.
Again, I have.
You have a police report. You said you had a police report. I want to see it. You have a police report that she was involved in some kind of activity harassing somebody else?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Do you have any other restraining orders against you, Miss Vance?
I have a restraining order containing my baby's father, wife, where she and I was back and forth in court, and we had to get a restraining order because she couldn't deal with the fact that her husband has a baby, and that's his only child. Yes, we do. And you know what? How he has that report because him and my baby's father and him, my baby's father and my baby's father's wife, and him teamed up together to try to catch me and her husband together. He was trying to catch my father.
Miss Vance, listen to me. I have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
Now. I'm looking at these reports. How many times were you arrested? Arrested. Reports of burglary, reports of harassment. How many times?
Of burglary?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I haven't been arrested for burglary.
Mm-hmm. You want to take a look at this?
Okay. This is when my friend's daughter went to the store and stole some stuff, and I was the adult with her, and her mother turned around and said that I made her daughter steal this. That's how that came up.
Do you have a restraining order issued against you involving anyone other than Mr. Jackson?
My baby's father's wife.
She's ready to rule. Stay tuned. They used to be lovers, now they're enemies. Nancy Vance says Frances Jackson stalked her and vandalized her car. He says she has it turned around. She harassed him.
Sounds to me as if you don't want to be together anymore. I
Well,
think the love affair is over.
I cannot go in public. I cannot go anywhere because Kim and his estranged girlfriend harasses me every time I go someplace. I went to the club. Kim and his girlfriend ran behind me out of the club trying to fight me. I haven't flagged the police now. They have arrested Francis that night.
Miss Vance, one case is important. I don't see how you could ever live together for 2 minutes, the two of you.
Really?
Not for 2 seconds. Listen to me, not for 2 seconds. I also think, however, Mr. Jackson, that the coincidences of your being around her premises and her vehicle around the time that her cars have been vandalized, and I do believe these two women, that you were around both at the club once and outside of her house once at the time that her car was vandalized, plus the fact that you seem to have a rather acrimonious relationship, plus the fact that I do believe that you did make that phone call to her after at least the initial act of vandalism, suggests to me that you had the motive, you had the opportunity to do it. And based upon the testimony that I've heard from the witnesses, at least, you were in fact in the area. Now, that is not proof beyond a reasonable doubt that you in fact caused the vandalism to the cars. But in civil proceedings, you do not have to have proof beyond a reasonable doubt. You have to have proof by what we call a preponderance of the evidence, which is just a little bit more evidence. Miss Vance did not cause the vandalism to her car. Somebody else caused it. When you call her, and I do believe that you called her, and you may not have said, I did in fact vandalize your car, but that telephone call was in very close proximity to the car being vandalized. I've seen the letter that you wrote, listen to me, to his commanding officer. In the letter that you wrote to his commanding officer, you indicated, at least at that time, that the damage to your car was $1,500. The judgment in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,500. And I want you to listen to me. Put a period, say goodbye to each other, move on with your life, sir, because you don't want to destroy whatever career you have. You want to get on with your life and have somebody new. It didn't work out. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Wow. Step out.
Thank you.
She didn't want to listen to what I had to say.
You don't have anything to say.
This woman has a police record.
I'm going to buy you some clothes and you're going to have to $1,500.
And now the next case.
All eyes on Mosley versus Riley. Step forward, please.
Deshaun Mosley rented a refrigerator for sometime live-in Kenneth Riley. He says it got stolen. She says he should pay for it. They both say the fight isn't really about a refrigerator.
Now, this is number 10 on the calendar in the matter of Mosley versus Riley. May be seated.
Miss Mosley, your complaint says that Mr. Riley either lost or stole or misplaced your refrigerator.
That is correct.
How did he come to have your refrigerator?
He had gotten a house and we were supposed to be staying there together. He didn't have a refrigerator, so I told him that I would get a refrigerator in my name because I had a contract with a rent-to-own company. So I told him that I would get the refrigerator if he agreed to pay the monthly fee. And then later on, he can get it turned over into his name.
So what happened?
So I stayed there a few days. He had the refrigerator for weeks. His children came over and he used it. He occupied it more than I did. I stayed there 3 or 4 days. We finally agreed that we weren't going to stay together. So I told Kenny that, okay, fine, just get the refrigerator transferred over into your name. He called them to make arrangements to come down and do that. He never showed up. So finally one day, after several occasions asking him to get it turned over, he finally told me that I can go to the house and get it. And I had the people from Rent to Own meet me over there, only to find that the house was empty. The refrigerator was gone and all of his belongings.
So there's no refrigerator?
No refrigerator. And when I confronted him about it, he said that he doesn't know what happened to it and it was stolen.
Okay.
Hi. I was out of town. I came back home. The refrigerator was in my house. I called Deshawn and asked her, what happened? How did the refrigerator get in my house? She told me I thought about you need a refrigerator and I got you one. I said, but Deshawn, I was going to get my own refrigerator. I didn't ask you to give me no refrigerator.
And so did you send the refrigerator right back?
No, I asked her at that time to come get the refrigerator. I hadn't spoke to Deshawn or seen Deshawn in a couple of weeks because she was upset with me because I had told her from Jump Street she wasn't going to be living with me. I had just got a relationship I had been in. I did not want to live with anybody. I told Deshawn this. Deshawn was cool. When me and Deshawn first met, me and Deshawn knew that it was just an on-again, off-again relationship. It was just a sexual thing between me and her, so I don't know what she did. Yeah. Order. That it was going to be any type of anything serious. Okay.
Well, you know,
Stuck around long enough, it had to be good.
after she had the refrigerator put in your house, Mr. Riley, you said you didn't want it.
That's correct.
Did you immediately that day call the rental company that I'm sure has a little sticker on the refrigerator and say, please come and get the refrigerator?
I didn't know. I didn't see no sticker. I didn't know where the refrigerator came from.
Oh, that's baloney, Mr. Riley. What do you know, I mean, it's not like finding a box of chocolates in your house to come into your kitchen and find the refrigerator there, sir. Did you use the refrigerator?
Sure, I used it.
Where was the refrigerator when you moved your things out of the house?
The refrigerator was still there.
Didn't you feel any responsibility if you moved out to call her and say, listen, I'm moving out. The refrigerator is here. I don't want you to get...
She knew that I was looking for another place. When I did not move out that house, when I came to get my belongings, the refrigerator was gone before I got my belongings out the house. I was out of town. I came back from out of town. The refrigerator was gone, and I got my belongings. I thought Deshawn came and got a refrigerator while I was out of town.
That's not
I
what
got
you
my
just said.
belongings. And
You
left.
mean the only thing that somebody took out of the house was the refrigerator?
That's why I thought Deshawn came and got the refrigerator.
She's ready to rule in a moment.
Well, the question is, who should bear the burden of this refrigerator? I do think, sir, that you minimally acquiesced in her putting the refrigerator in your house. You may not have asked her, please get me a refrigerator, but when she offered to do it, you accepted. I do believe her when she says she asked you to put it in your name, that you did not put it in your name. You didn't feel as if you had to take the time to do that because it was already there. Someone else was paying the bill. And I don't think that she should be forced to pay for it. I don't think it was a gift. And I think that you knew it wasn't a gift. She put it in because it was easier for her. She had credit with this account. You owe her $1,168. Judgment for the plaintiff in that amount. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please excuse step out.